how troubling is the ruling that the Senate parliamentarian did yesterday on the president must sign the bill before they can do reconciliation?
Not very troubling. I mean, it is. It's more of a visibility issue. But the fact is that once we pass the Senate bill, it is enacted. And that remains for the president to sign it. Maybe more on the subject than you want to know, so I know you'll stop me if that's the case. It's important to note that what we are doing is reconciliation. We're dealing with a very few points. Affordability for the middle class, affordability for the middle class, equity for the states to correct the Nebraska fix, closing the donut hole for seniors, and I'm finding out that a lot of people don't know what the donut hole, making prescription drugs more affordable for seniors, and expanding the accountability, the insurance reforms. In addition, on the pay-for side, changing the pay-for from the excise tax to another pay-for. That's largely what is in the bill and some things that go with that. It all must be central to the budget. Nothing incidental or peripheral to the budget. Central to the budget. That's what it is. The bills that have passed, ours with 220 in the House, theirs with 60 in the Senate, will be acting upon the Senate bill with changes that were in the House bill reflected in the reconciliation. So in order to have the Senate bill be the basis and build upon it with the reconciliation, you have to pass the Senate bill, or else you're talking about starting from scratch. So we will pass the Senate bill. Once we pass it, the President signs it or doesn't, it's people would rather he waited until the Senate acted, but the Senate parliamentarian, as you have said in order for them to do a reconciliation based on the Senate bill, it must be signed by the President. So it isn't going to make any difference, except maybe the mood that people are in. But the fact is once we pass it in the House, it's going to be the law of the land, and it will officially be so.
Want to make a big difference? We're hearing from so many of your rank and file that they just don't trust the Senate.
Well, that's another thing. But the fact is that they're committed enough to extending insurance to 31 million more Americans, to making insurance more affordable to the middle class, for having reforms that say that we end the prohibition on denying insurance to those because they have a pre-existing medical condition. They are committed to the goals of the legislation, and they're strong enough to do it, regardless of if the bill is signed on Monday or if it's signed on Friday, because we will have already passed the bill.